Trump hits the road this week to push his tax reform plan, but will his recent feud with influential Tennessee Senator Bob Corker derail it? Here to weigh in, political consultant Harlan Hill. Harlan is also a member of the Donald Trump for President Advisory Board, and we have Mitch Roschelle, a partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers, as well as a business development leader. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, this feud, Harlan, this feud between the president and Republican Senator Bob Corker, who is retiring, right? He's got almost nothing to lose right now. Does it say to you that there is a faction within the GOP that is trying to derail the tax reform plan and the rest of the president's agenda?
I don't think it's far-fetched to suggest that perhaps there are elements of the establishment Republican Party that would rather see President Trump fail than see him succeed and thus fundamentally transform the Republican Party. I mean, make no mistake, the president has executed a hostile takeover of the Republican Party, but unfortunately, some of the C-level execs are still in place. And I think somebody like Bob Corker is planting seeds of doubt to undermine this president with his most recent commentary. And it's not helpful, and it doesn't advance the Republican Party, and it doesn't, most importantly, provide tax relief and regulatory relief to the American people.
But here's the thing, Mitch. When it comes to tax reform, and almost everybody wants to see a tax cut and a new tax policy in some which way, shape, or form because it helps Americans and it helps businesses. The GOP can only lose 2 Republican senators before they have to reach out to the Democrats for help. Are we in a situation now where Bob Corker can become a maverick like John McCain, and we just don't know how he's going to vote on this issue?
Right. You have 2, McCain and Corker, who could go the other way. And look at all the attempts we had on anything with health care that didn't work. What's really interesting, though, is it's a pro-growth policy. It's not necessarily just per se pro-business. It's really sort of pro-American.
Yeah.
And it's very curious why you wouldn't think that even on the other side, Democrats wouldn't get behind it, because growing the economy, creating jobs just really seems like something that our country needs right now, politics aside.
Harlan, what Democrats can you see getting on board here? I'm, for one, thinking of Joe Donnelly of Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's sort of been forecast by the fact that Donnelly has traveled with both the vice president and the president. I mean, I think you can also look to somebody like Senator Manchin from West Virginia. I mean, there are Democrats that are willing to play here. And look, the president has already articulated that if Republican leadership cannot get this done, the president of the United States, President Trump, will not be a lame duck president for the next 3 years. He is going to get something done, even if it requires him to engage in bipartisanship and bring Democrats to the table. And when you look at the polling on tax reform, even Democrats overwhelmingly support reforming and working on common sense solutions to the tax code in this country. So a deal can be done with the support of the rank and file of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
We just have to reach out.
We certainly hope so. Let's get into some of the details of the framework for tax reform that we've seen so far, Mitch. You know, small businesses are huge job creators. They're responsible for employing 56 million people. So if they get a tax cut, you know, if we cut the rates on pass-throughs to 25% as proposed, how big of a deal would that be for small businesses out there?
It's huge, and I'll give you a couple of data nuggets. 40% of the taxes that are paid for business actually come from partnerships, sole proprietorships, S-corps, all of which are really basically taxed at the rate of an individual. Yeah. And another little nugget for you on small business, businesses of 100 employees or less in the last several years have created 5 times more jobs than companies with 1,000 employees or more. So it's really small business that's the economic engine for this country. And when you talk about tax reform, the truly reforming thing in that blueprint that we've seen in the past, plus the framework today, is lowering the rates for pass-throughs and not taxing them at the rate of the shareholders.
Yeah, Mitch, I just want to stay with you because I have a market question. Goldman Sachs came out with a report. They say there's a 65% chance of getting tax reform done in 2018. But then they looked at how the market would move. And the S&P 500, which is at 2544 as of yesterday's close, they say it's going to rise to 2610. That's a small move. Why isn't the move bigger? According to their projections.
Yeah, Lauren, I think tax reform has been baked into this market from day one. And I worry that it would go the other way if we can't get something through the Senate it looks like we could get something to the House just based upon the way the budget resolution was passed last Thursday. The market could react the other way. So I think it's baked in. Simple answer.
Most people say the opposite, but this is a very interesting new take on the situation because the market is up double digits since the election. Harlan, I want to wrap up with you. You have 33 House Republicans in high tax states. The vice president was pushing tax reform in California yesterday. That is one of the states. So if they remove state and local tax deductions, that's really not going to fly with many lawmakers, will it?
And no, it's not. I mean, this is potentially a very politically contentious issue. But ultimately, I want to get back to something that Mitch said. Because things are baked in, because the markets have already baked this in, I think that's added pressure to Republicans and Democrats on the Hill to finally come to the table and deliver here. I mean, we've been shut out so far. And the onus is on us to start delivering and to provide relief for the American people, not just for political reasons, though there are legitimate political reasons there, but because people are actually suffering today. And because businesses are choosing not to invest in the American middle class because there's so much uncertainty right now.
All right, Harlan, Mitch, thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks, Lauren.
We remain hopeful that we see a tax plan and we see it soon. Gentlemen, bye.